What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Brian Downard here, one of the partners at Prospecting on Demand. And last year, we did just north of $1.5 million in high-ticket B2B sales for our consulting and coaching packages for marketing agencies. So I want to give you some insight that has helped us generate those numbers and really just consistently enroll people into our program. And it's a word that will help you double your close rate pretty much overnight. And it's not a word that you say, it's more about what you do. And like I kind of shared in my last video, also about what you are not doing that's going to make a huge difference when you are selling your agency services, your coaching, consulting, high ticket B2B services. This video is for you. So let's dive into it. And you can probably already see it right here in front of you, but that word is indifference. And this is so hard for people to wrap their head around because we get so excited and passionate about what we do and what we sell. The reality is the people you're speaking to and the majority of the population do not care at all, and they are nowhere near as enthusiastic or excited as you are about that thing. And what we tend to do is, because of that enthusiasm, we say and do things that come off a little bit desperate on sales calls, which puts up a big wall between you and your prospects. So where I really picked this up was when I was doing a lot more setting kind of a sales development rep, and in that position, what I would see is when I needed and wanted to get the set, and I went in prior to even speaking to the person, prior to that call with this expectation, I need to get this set, I need this to get my numbers up, this is for me, I would do way worse because every single conversation is going to be different, and therefore you need to be completely detached from the outcome. And I'll go through some nuances of how you do this, but the idea is as soon as I just detached myself from needing to have the outcome and allowed myself just to have a conversation with someone, person to person, see where they're at, what they need, and just make a diagnosis there and then, now I can confidently push them and help inform their decision one way or another. But when you can be indifferent and you can frankly not give a fuck on a sales call, it's going to make a huge difference. Let's talk about why and some things you can use to leverage as you're doing this. So I want to make one point clear. Indifference does not mean apathy. Apathy is you just not caring at all, right? You still need to be empathetic and care, but it doesn't mean that you need them to buy. And I really want you to think like long and hard about this, right? Will your life be dramatically different if this person says yes or says no? Probably not. And if that is the case, you really probably need to look at what else can you be doing to overlap with this. If you need this money, it might mean you probably should go get a part-time job, do side hustles or gigs where you could do like Uber Eats, deliver. Like, it's not the sexiest thing, but when I was building up my agency, I was delivering pizzas on the weekend. I was doing tour guides for foreign exchange students at a local college during the day. And really what that kind of forced me to do is have a place where I can earn money and not have to feel so attached to needing the money of the prospects that I'm speaking to. Because even if you do this the wrong way and you are needy and you get them to say yes because you need it, they will have buyer's remorse. They will be bad clients and they will churn out quickly and you won't have that money for long. So do not trade fast money and fast wins for the stuff that can get you paid longer term, which means disqualifying people who are bad fits and not being so needy. Now, without going down another rabbit hole, a big part of why this happens is you probably just have a lack of sales opportunities, right? How many sales calls are you booking week to week right now? If you're not booking at least 10, 20 sales calls per week and you're only getting on like one or two, you're going to have that desperation. So having a volume of opportunities, having a full pipeline will give you this mindset of abundance where you're not acting out of scarcity and not doing things that are just attracting the fast money, which will fizzle out faster than you got it. So just kind of look at yourself in a mirror and really kind of allow yourself to get to a place of not being attached to the outcome because you have money elsewhere, that you don't need this money right this second. And it puts you in a much more powerful position in a sales conversation. So like I said, you need to be empathetic, not apathetic, but you still cannot be attached to them needing to buy the product. And this mindset of Sales is actually a service. If you are using your selling abilities and sales skills to convince people to buy things they don't need, that's wrong. That's bad. Get off my channel. That's not what I'm about. That's not what I want you to be about. But very much like a doctor, you are there to prescribe to them, not pitch. And what does this mean? You need to dig. Where is the pain? Where does it hurt? How long has this been going on? What have you already done about this? Okay, based on this diagnosis, I am going to recommend and prescribe that you do XYZ thing, because they are looking at you as a trusted expert to help guide their decision on what they should do, because they're not sure. They don't know, but they also don't really trust you yet, and they don't know if they can trust your intentions. So being indifferent to that outcome is going to make a big difference. And a lot of that comes down to the words you choose and the tonality by which you're communicating those words. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. So being detached from the outcome will make you more money, full stop. And what happens is when people feel like you need them to say yes, they back off. The shield goes up. They're far less likely to do it, because I have this, saying, you might have heard it before. Everyone's favorite radio station is WIIFM. What's in it for me? And if you aren't playing that track, they're going to tune out. And if it's what's in it for you, they're definitely going to tune out. So please make sure you are in this idea of selling to the individual, not selling to the avatar. Because yes, even though they may have similar goals, ambitions as other people in the space that you're serving, the individual may want something slightly different, and you need to extract that from them so they can tell you how they like to be sold, and then you can give that back to them. Now, neediness kills deals, confidence sells, and desperation repels. I got a quick story about this. I remember this so clearly. I was probably 9 or 10 years old, and my parents were at this, I guess you could call it like a big retail store. They sold like furniture and TVs, and I'm sure this long out of business because Best Buy, probably ate their lunch. But I clearly remember them like kind of shopping for TVs, and I didn't really care, right? Like, oh, whatever, it's a TV. I'm 9 or 10 years old. I don't have any money. I don't really know what's going on. I'm just tagging along because I'm not trustworthy enough to stay home by myself yet. And I remember them not deciding on buying something. They wanted to like think about it. And the sales guy, as we were leaving the store, chased us out into the parking lot and tried to I honestly don't even remember what he said, but I'm assuming it was along the lines of trying to convince my parents to, hey, let's look at some options, come back in, buy this TV, because I'm going to assume he was making a commission on that. But the act of him chasing us down into the parking lot, that memory has stuck with me. I don't remember what he said or what even happened afterwards. I don't even remember if my parents ended up buying a TV from there or not. I just remember feeling weird. And if a 9 or 10-year-old kid can, have the intuition to realize that was a weird situation, this is how you were potentially coming off to your prospects on sales calls. You were chasing them into the parking lot, trying to convince them to make the decision rather than helping guide their decisions. So people only care about what's in for them. Again, WIIFM, and you have to get over the fact that they very likely don't care about your opinion. They want your opinion because they want affirmation in their decision, but they really only care about their decision. And so I have this thought that where you can literally do every single thing right on a sales call. You can be the world's top closer. You can be the absolute best at it. It does not mean you're going to get the sale. And on the other end of that, you can do everything wrong and still get the sale, assuming you have a half-decent offer. So therefore, why be attached to the outcome? What you need to do is just ask the questions that give you the best shot of getting a yes. Now, this video is not about the sales call framework. I'll do another one on that in the future. This is just about the idea of you need to be indifferent to the outcome. Again, you are there to help guide their decisions, not convince them to do it. There is an exception here where I feel that there is an appropriate time and place when you need to tell them to do it. And that is when they are uncertain about making the decision or they're stalling, right? They believe in the product, they believe in the offer, they believe in these things, but they're just waffling, because the reality is most of the time, the most common decision is indecision. I need to think about it. I'm not sure. I need to talk to this person. I need to do that. you need to, at this point, when they are waffling on making the decision, just ask like, hey, it sounds like this is something you want to do. You're just a little nervous to make the decision. Is that fair? And then this is where you need to borrow against the relationship equity you've already established through, again, the questions you've been asking them that helped them come to their own conclusion of, hey, this is something that I want to do. And then this is where it's appropriate to tell them. And I might, again, argue this idea of like, not argue is not the right phrase, but this idea of tell them like, look, like at the end of the day, this is your decision. I don't have a horse in the race. I'm just here to help guide this decision for you so you make the best one. But what I can tell you from my experience in doing this the past 9 years, working with more than 1,000 agency owners, this is a good investment. This is what you need to do if you want to go from where you are now to where you told me you want to be. This is when it's appropriate to tell them to make a decision when you're helping them make that. Now, I'll kind of give you some frameworks around that here in just a moment, because these kind of 3 things you need from them are what you want to affirm here to help them make the decision. And just making sure like, hey, you want help, right? You believe we can help you? Do you believe this can work for you? Great. That's my moral obligation to help you figure out how to do this because this is the right move for you. But maybe it isn't for them if they don't admit some of these things. And I wouldn't be making an offer to them unless they fit into all 3 of these criteria. And that is, they have to actually admit that they need help, because if they are too ignorant or too arrogant and ignorant, ignorant and arrogant, they're just going to want to do it themselves. They're not going to say, you know what, like we'll try this on our own for the next couple of months and we'll get back to you. So you really have to make sure they are admitting like, hey, I'm part of the problem. I don't have all the answers. I do need someone actually to guide me. You need to get them off that arrogance wagon and into a place of like, hey, like they say that joke of like the first step of recovery is admitting you need help for whatever you're recovering from. Number 2 is the belief in the product and that we can help and we're going to back up what we say. So it's like, hey, do you believe in, the offer that we made, that we're going to back up our word and deliver on this promise? You do. Great. They need to actually believe you can help them. And then the most important piece here is they need to believe that they can do it as well. There's this idea that people who are in desperate situations or in a lot of pain, they don't make these types of decisions. They don't buy because the investment, paying that money, is just an additional source of pain that they cannot bear. And so there's this idea of the buying pocket, right? I picked this up from a lot of the people I've been following and learning sales from. It's somewhere in the middle of, on one end of the spectrum, having no hope, the person who won't ever make the investment because they have no hope or belief that they can do it. But it's also between, on the other end of the spectrum, the people who are too arrogant to admit that they need help. And that buying pocket is somewhere in the middle where, like I said, they need to admit they need help, have belief in the product, and have belief in themselves. This, again, all circles back to the indifference you need to have to help guide their decision to get them to a point of realization that, hey, this is what I need, and I need it right now. And to kind of just wrap this up, I'll share a quick story about someone who joined our program last month, and he wasn't necessarily financially qualified for the one-on-one program. And so before I shared the group program with him at all, I took the offer off the table and I told him, like, look, like, if you cannot be a self-starter and commit to showing up to these things, putting in the work, doing what's necessary, and communicating regularly when you need that help, this isn't going to work for you, because in this program, we're not going to chase you down. There is not as much accountability. There is not as much hand-holding. So if you can't do these things, don't join this program. It's not for you. And what ultimately happened is he ended up joining because he admitted that, no, look, I need this help. I am willing to do that. I understand the expectations that you're setting about what is required of me to get the result. I believe you can help me. And now I believe that I can because I have the proper expectations about what I have to do. Again, if you're selling this dream that they don't have to do anything at all, and that's not the case, there's going to be immediate buyer's remorse and you're going to turn clients very quickly. So you need to make sure that your promises and, more importantly, your expectations are in alignment with reality of what the prospect is hearing before you're willing to actually let them into your offer. So I hope this has been helpful. Indifference is key in sales. If you like this, you know the drill here on YouTube. Like this video. It helps the channel out a lot. We're new, kind of growing this back up. I posted videos a long time ago. You can see how skinny and young I was, but bringing back a lot of the lessons we've done over the past couple of years, building out this multiple 7-figure coaching program for marketing agencies. And if you want to learn more about that, you can check it out in the description below. Subscribe to the channel if you found this useful. I'm going to keep putting out more content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.